Hey crew, it's Pitt and I'm back with another react. Today we're going to be back with my boy Jelly Roll. This is a brand new live that he dropped. It is Winning Streak and we're going to dive in and see what's up. Let's go.
The broken glass of a bottle makes a jagged rock bottom.
Huh.
Right now I got two shaky hands, only one way to stop. And I haven't touched a drop in 7 hours, 3 minutes. Hardly sobered up, already wanna quit quitting. Sweating in an old church basement, wishing I was wasted. Never thought I'd say this. Hello, my name's Jason.
Hello, I'm Jeremy, and I am an ex-addict. I don't call myself an addict anymore, but I've been there. I've never been to a meeting, but I'm familiar with the process, and that's what he's talking about, right? Like, if you are celebrating your first day of sobriety, then blessings be upon you. I am praying for you, because it is a tough fight. I am 22 years sober of powder. I am, 10 years sober from opioids, and that was 2 separate addictions by 2 separate circumstances and in 2 different ways, but both of them were instrumental in me changing my life around. So if you are celebrating your sobriety, I am here for you today.
And I've been losing myself, I've been losing my mind. And I've been standing in the rain just trying to stay dry.
Been standing in the rain trying to stay dry.
So ashamed to be in this seat till I met a man who was 20 years clean. He said everybody here's felt the same defeat. Nobody walks through these doors on a winning streak.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It takes more strength to walk into that place, right? And again, I did not do it that way. I did it a different way. I am a very much intensive for me person, and so it is possible to do it without that support system, but a lot of people get some help from that support system, and it takes a lot of guts to walk into there and say, hey, I am an addict and I am sober, right? That takes a lot, and I fully commiserate with that.
It's felt the same defeat. Nobody walks through these doors on a winning streak.
Hitting rock bottom's a hard thing, y'all. It's a hard thing. Like when it was powder, I thought y'all heard the story. Y'all know the story. My daughter was in the bouncy seat next to me, and I blew through a whole ball overnight in 6 hours by myself with my daughter in the seat next to me. Right? That was when I realized, hey, look, I'm a piece of shit, and I need to change my life. And that's when I got off the powder. And now the opioids was a whole different thing. That came as a result of this shoulder surgery that I am recently recovered from. And like that was insidious. It kind of snuck up on me. I didn't even really understand that one was happening. Like I chose the powder. Like I knew the full well what the consequences was going into that. But those opioids, they got me in a whole different way. Right? I was stealing from people. Like I never stole from people I loved when I was on powder. That wasn't a thing. I did that when I was on opioids. And so, like, I understand fully giving it up. I understand fully rock bottom. Trust me on this.
Hold on, hold on. Hold on. The broken man in the mirror won't look at me because he's guilty.
He said the broken man in the mirror won't look at me because he's guilty. Bruh. If I don't feel that to the bottom of my feet, I don't know what I ever felt before in my entire life.
The broken man in the mirror won't look at me because he's guilty. And I swear for the last couple weeks that mother tried to kill me.
Bruh. 6 hours.
By the time I saw it coming, it was done with already. It's hard to run from it when it runs in the family.
What? Tell him again, Jason.
And it was done with already. It's hard to run from it when it runs in the family.
When I gave up both times, there was still people all the way around me fully involved. Fully involved. And that includes my daddy.
Problem with 1,000 more it's causing. Man, it's all exhausting. This is why I walked in. Thanks for letting me share it.
Yes, this is why I walked in. I'm loving it.
Man, it's all exhausting. This is why I walked in. Thanks for letting me share it, Amazon. And I've been losing myself.
I've been losing my mind.
And I've been standing in the rain just trying to stay dry.
Come on.
I was so ashamed to be in this seat till I met a man who was 20 years clean. He said everybody here's felt the same defeat. Nobody walks through these doors on a winning streak. Yeah. Woo! I'm tired of being broken.
Brr. I'm tired of being broken. Bruh.
I'm tired of being broken. I'm sick of feeling hopeless. Way down here at my lowest. At the end of my rope. At the end of my rope. So what do I do? What do I do?
You just did it.
What do I do? I've been
Losing myself, I've been losing my mind.
And I was standing
In the rain, just trying to get dry.
I was so ashamed to be in this seat till I met a man who was 20 years clean. He said everybody here's felt the same defeat.
Nobody comes through these doors on a winning streak. Y'all get back and check him out. I can commiserate. I can feel it, right? Like, I may have to make a verse for this one. Like, not every song I can make a verse for because I don't always get the inspiration for that, but I can get the inspiration for this one about that child in the bouncy seat. I can see that one coming. So once again, thank you, Chris, for pointing out to me something great. I love this. I'm here to encourage you. Right, I am 22 years sober from the addiction that I chose, and I am 15 years sober, 10 years sober. I have to do the math. I don't even remember when I gave up the opioids, but like I don't keep track of it like other people do. It was never a day-by-day thing for me. It was a today is not going to be the day thing for me, and that was just how my mind works. It's not the same for everybody. Some people have to count the days. Some people have to go to meetings. Some people have to go to a professional. I'm built a little bit different, and so I didn't. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't. If you need the help, you should seek the help. And this group, this club that he's talking about here, they are oriented in the correct way. Right? They are trying to help people to overcome the thing that is holding them back. And you have to invest your energy into that. You don't get to just walk in and it's done, right? You have to go in and you have to work the program. You have to go in and understand all of the things. You have to dig into yourself. You have to understand why you're using. It's all the same stuff that I talk about over here. It's the same thing. I did the same thing. I just didn't do it with people. Some people need that though. Some people are E's. I'm an I. Some people need that extra support. They need somebody that they can call when they're feeling the temptation. I looked at the picture of my child. That's what changed me, was my baby, right? Sitting in that bouncy seat next to me. And I was like, this has got to stop. And so it did that night. That was the last time right there. But I had blown through an entire section, right? A whole ball by myself in 6 hours. That's a terrible feeling when you wake up and you realize, man, I am just a piece of shit. I don't want to be a piece of shit. I want my children to look at me and not feel the same things that I felt with my dad. I don't want them to have to worry about where I am tonight. I don't want them to have to worry about, is he going to make it home? Are they going to find him on the side of the road? Are they going to find him in the trap house with no breath left? I grieved my dad for a decade, and he's still alive. He's still alive now, 20 years after this whole situation, but I had grieved him already. I knew that he was going to die from dope. That was just how he was built. And I'm so proud of him now because he's not. He is doing better. He has finally decided that he wants to live his life. And that's a wonderful thing. You have to decide you want to live your life. And that is the key to the entirety of it. If you deciding that you want to live your life means that you've got to go to a meeting every day, then carry your ass to a meeting every fucking day, twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever it takes. Do what you have to do to get off of this shit. It will kill you. It will be slow most of the time, but sometimes it is that quick, and it's too late to say no. By the time you've already done it, it's too late to say no. And nowadays, it is especially dangerous. They are out there changing what you're taking and not telling you about it. I know people who are dead. Children. And by children, I mean a 20-year-old. I mean an 18-year-old. I mean a technical adult. But you're out there making the decisions, thinking that you're making this decision, but it's actually a whole different decision. And now it's too late. Now it's too late. The Narcan can't help you. Nothing can help you. You're done. Your mama is crying. Your daddy is crying. Your brothers and sisters, your children are crying because you chose. And it's a choice. You don't have to like that. It is a choice. I don't get down with that whole disease thing. I don't. Because I have been there and I have been surrounded by everybody doing it. And not a single one of them, nobody in the entire game that I was involved in was there by accident. None of them were, oh, I can't. It was all they enjoyed it. They would tell you they can't, but they were down for it. I was down for it. I was in the middle of it. I thought it was a great thing. I was all up in the game. It's not a good place to be. It's really not. If you can get away from it, that's going to be the best thing to ever happen in your life. I love the fact that I gave it up. I love it. I love that I gave up both of them. I've given up all the pharmaceuticals. I don't mess with any of them. And that doesn't mean that not some of them are not useful, but I have changed my life where I don't need them. And I am happy with that. If you need the help, seek the help. Get it today. And if you don't, if you can't walk through that door, then watch my channel. Watch the things that I talk about over here, because what I talk about over here came from being there. What I talk about here, the depression, the anxiety, the addiction, those are things I went through. And those are things that I beat. Not even just I'm in a battle with them. I'm not in a battle with any of that shit anymore. I don't battle addiction. I don't. It's done. We are done. That's a wrap. Carry your ass. I don't play those games anymore. I don't battle anxiety. I don't battle depression. The battle is won. It is done. You come at me with the battle and I dismiss it these days. I seek the higher power, and that's who I am. But I've got tools over here. I've got a whole toolbox called the Infinite Integrations playlist that can help you get your spiritual life in order and understand why you're making these decisions. If you don't like the spiritual part of it, there's a whole nother playlist called the MBTI parts, where I took out the spiritual parts as much as I could so that you can still figure out why, right? It's the why that makes the difference. Understanding yourself fundamentally can help you to make the choice to not to. That's what it took for me, was getting into my head and understanding why I was doing it. And a lot of it was because of the way I was raised. It was because my dad was so involved in it. Right? My dad and my mom broke up because he was running drugs for a family out of New Orleans back in the 70s, early 80s. And so that was my goal when I was a kid, was to grow up and be like that. It took me understanding that to understand why I was doing the things. And it was understanding the feeling I felt when I was sitting there trying to call my dad at the trap and nobody would tell me where he was, and it's 2 weeks and I ain't heard from him. It was understanding that I was about to give that to my daughter. Right? My son wasn't here yet, but I was about to hand that to my daughter. That same feeling that I felt, I was about to give to my child. And I refused that. That was the breaking point for me. That was me understanding that. Right? Now, when I'm talking about powder here, now this was a whole different thing. When I got hooked on opioids, It was because of 2 surgeries, right? But that sent me on a whole different spiral. I wasn't choosing that. I didn't even understand what was going on, really. I was so twisted into thinking that the doctor gave them to me, they were got to be fine, that I never even considered it. I grew up in you do the substances. And so if the doctor gave it to you, it's got to be good for you, right? No, negative ghost rider, pattern is full, get the fuck out. That is not real, right? Just because the doctor gives it to you does not mean it's a good thing. And that doesn't just go for the addictive ones. If y'all like what Jelly's doing, y'all make sure y'all get back over and give him some love. Give him a like, share, and a sub. Throw him a comment. Let him know that you appreciate him, right? If you like what I'm doing over here, do the same thing for me. Give me a like, share, and a sub. Throw me a comment if you agree or disagree. If it remains respectful, it gets to remain up. And if there is another video you would like to see me do, drop it in the comments below. If you really like what I'm doing, hit me with that super thanks. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you were here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you. You are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. And this has been Pitt's Take. Peace.